Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your favorite Fat Boy Ray Ray coming at you with another Fat Boy Takes. I don't know what number this is. Whatever. I know I've been MIA, been busy with life and shit. But I had some time this morning and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to see if I can squeeze out a pod before I got to go do some errands I got to take care of. So if you hear the mouse clicking and the keyboard clicking and clacking, I'm apologizing right off the rip. I obviously don't have notes, so most of this stuff is like stuff I wanted to talk about, but I just haven't had the time. So pretty much I'm going to talk about the playoffs that start on Sunday, tomorrow. I'm going to try to talk a little bit about the MVP race and all that stuff, like my thoughts on that. The Rookie of the Year, which we all know, I believe Garland's going to win it, so I'm not going to waste my time with that. Either him or Scotty Barnes, one of the two, so I'm not wasting my time with that. Most improved player, John Moran's probably going to win that, even though I don't think he should be in that conversation. And just, I might just add some random stuff, because like I said, a lot has happened since the last podcast. And yeah, so like if I get choked up and like I trip up on my words, like I'm just going to apologize, because like I said, I just wanted to get on the mic and say some of the things that I wanted to say. So yeah, so if this pod's all over the place, I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so basically since the last time, I did a pod, we talked, a lot has went on. I'm pretty sure that's the pod where I said how you can fix the Lakers and fix the Celtics. Okay, so basically, your boy was right about the Lakers. I told you that shit was a trash fit. Now give me my motherfucking respect. I had a lot of motherfuckers that were talking mad shit the whole year, talking about how the Lakers are going to be so good. And blah, 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 how they were going to do better than the Celtics and yada, 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 yada. You guys know I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so I get a lot of shit from Laker fans and fucking whack-ass fucking Clipper fans. Fucking embarrassing. But yeah, so like, they were all quiet once the C's turned it around in January, and the Lakers just kind of fucking took like a tumble down. Fucking became big old shitters, you know what I'm saying? They started shitting the bed every fucking game and just sucking. So like I'm saying, like, there was no fixing the Lakers. They never got healthy for one. AD tissue paper man, like, never got healthy. And then LeBron went down. So that was pretty much the end of the season. Every Laker fan pretty much knew that the season was over once AD went down. As for the Boston Celtics, since that last pod, they turned it around. Like, they finally figured out the IM system. They started playing better defense, the whole team collectively. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown started playing better team basketball. They, like, figured it out. They just started balling. But that had to do a lot with the best defense in the league. They went from, like, having a mediocre defense in the league to having the best defense in the league for the last 2 months of the season. And then Jason Tatum's play on top of that with Jaylen Brown's play. And then all the role players stepped up. Robert Williams became like a defensive anchor. Robert Williams became a defensive player of the year candidate. That also helped a lot. And plus the coach started playing more shooters. He started playing Pritchard. Like I said, he had to play Pritchard more. Pritchard was his best shooter last year. There is no way Pritchard should have been on the bench for those long stretches of time that he was on the bench. That dude deserves minutes. The kid shot 50, 40, 90 last year. It's like I said, he was the best shooter on the team last year. There's no reason for him not to be getting minutes. And he's improved since last year. He's literally missed no free throws last year. And then another thing was, like I said, the team just started playing better overall. Marcus Smart started facilitating more. You already know what you're going to get from Marcus. This is literally one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. Even though he's a point guard, he started facilitating more. Well, he's a point guard now. He wasn't playing like a point guard before. Like, he started facilitating more, so that started helping a lot. And you already know what you're going to get from him on defense. He's going to lock the other dudes up, and that's what he did. So basically, and then it's like I said at the beginning of the season, this team had the potential to be a top 5 team defensively, and I was correct. Like, nobody can deny that. I literally said that at the beginning of the season, like when everybody was hating on the C's, talking about how they're going to suck, how they're going to this and this and that. And I said it since the beginning of the season that the defense could carry them. And the defense is carrying them, and so is their offensive play. So now that's like why this team, to me, is going to look very deadly in the playoffs. I don't think it matters that they're playing the Nets. I would not be afraid of the Nets. The Nets have proven that they're just really, really average. But you never know. KD can pull some of those games out of his ass, and you never know. We almost saw him win a series last year against the Bucks. But enough about the Lakers and the Celtics. Let's get to the playoff picture. Like usually around this time, by the way, I go over like my like the top 4 seeds that I picked, like in the beginning of the season. But obviously, I haven't had a lot of time to do pause. I've just been busy. But I'm gonna see if I can, like, I know I always say I'm gonna try to do it more, but I actually am, because I like doing this. So I'm just gonna try to make time to do it on the weekends. But yeah, like it's like I said, like I usually go over like the seeds I picked. And I have to apologize to the Toronto Raptors. I had really wrote them off, but Nick Nurse has those dudes playing at a very high level. They got the 5th seed in the East, which is pretty impressive to me, because and Pascal Siakam has been balling. Like to me, I have said it on this part before that I felt like Siakam's contract was an overpay, but he's the reason why they're the 5th seed right now. Him and the whole team plays good defense. That's the one thing about that team. Nick Nurse always has those guys playing good defense. So my apologies to the Raptors. Congratulations on securing the 5th seed in the East. I was wrong about the Raptors. And to me, a big surprise was the Warriors. The Warriors started balling at the beginning of the season. Then they got kind of hurt. But the Warriors were okay this year. They were able to like hold out because they started off so hot. So they secured a top 3 seed. To me, I'm just going to be honest with everybody. Like, I feel like I'm going to talk a little bit about the playoffs right here. Like, I feel like this year is more wide open than anything. I can't really say, like, this team is better than everybody, like, head and shoulders. Like, I can't even say that about the Suns, even though the Suns, like, have that nice-ass record. Because I've seen the Suns, like, I've seen everybody lose. Like, yeah, the Suns won more games or whatever, but don't get me wrong. Like, they are beatable. That team is very beatable. But we're going to see. The thing with the Suns that I like about the Suns is, like, they play, like a very heavy rotation. And, like, there's, like, no drop-off. Like, that's why, to me, that team is very, very scary. Because I feel like that team, like, there's not very, very, like, a lot of drop-off. Like I said, like CP3 got injured, right? Everybody was like, oh, damn. They're going to start losing. They lost their 4 general. Oh, man, they lost the point guard, blah, blah, blah. And that was not the case. Those dudes still won 63 games or 64 games or whatever, which was pretty freaking crazy to me because, like, I was one of those dudes. I was like, okay, you know, CP3 got injured. They might start losing a little bit of games, but that was definitely not the case. And that's why, to me, that team is very scary, like, to face in the playoffs. Obviously, they're going to have the easiest road to the playoffs. They're like after the play-in game, they're gonna play the Pelicans. They'll probably beat the Pelicans. They'll probably sweep the Pelicans. I'll be very surprised if they don't sweep the Pelicans. Like I don't even want to bother talking a lot about that series. Like I'm said, I'm very impressed by the Suns. But like I feel like this year is like the most wide open it's ever been in the playoffs because it's like the top 4 seeds like on each side could win. Like at least I feel that way. And I'll tell you guys right now why I think that. All right, well, here we go. Like I think to me, like any of those teams, like out of the top 4 seeds in each conference, whichever of those teams can keep playing like at the highest level possible. Obviously, right? They want to play at the highest level possible. We know the Suns are going to do that. They've just been consistent for 63. They won 63 games, you know, so they're going to keep playing that way. So I ain't worried about the Suns doing it. We know the Suns are going to do it. But, like, the thing with me is, like, can these other teams do it? Like, the Celtics have been doing it for 2 months. The Heat have been doing it as well. But, like, to me, out of all the teams, the least scary team to me is the Heat. And I'll tell you guys why. Because I just don't feel like the Heat, like, yes, they have a good team. Like, they have Kyle Lowry, they have Jimmy Butler, they have PJ Tucker, they have Bam Adebayo. But to me, I feel like they don't have that go-to guy. Like, that guy that can get you a bucket, like, every time. Like, when they're playing some crazy-ass D on you, they don't have that dude that can get you that bucket. Like Jimmy Butler might have been that dude years ago. He ain't that dude anymore. He can't do it. Kyle Lowry might be able to get you a bucket every now and then, but he's a little bit older now. I don't feel it. Like when it comes down to like a dude going in ISO and getting you a bucket, I don't think they have that dude. And I'm not like Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero gets a lot of his stuff off screens and all that stuff. Tyler Hero's not gonna go to the rack on you and get you a bucket. Like I don't care what anybody says. Like Tyler Hero's not that dude yet. He's still too small. He might be that dude like in 2 or 3 years, but he's not that dude now. So like to me, the least scary team right now is the Heat. Like probably the most scary team. Well, obviously it has to be the Suns. But let's talk about the other teams now. Like who's the second seed in the West? The Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have John Morant. John Morant been playing very, very great, even though he got injured and missed like 23 games. But he's gonna play. So you're gonna have a John Morant like on a month off resting, and that team still went like 20-2 or 20-3 without him. So like I don't know. I know it's different in the playoffs when they focus you in, but I think the Grizz have a legit shot of coming out because they play hard. They have a superstar. John Morant's like, there's no doubt John Morant's going to be a superstar. Let's just be real here. He might even be there already, pretty quick. But he's almost there. If he's not a superstar, he's literally on the cusp of being one in the next season. And then we have the Warriors. Like to me, I think the only thing that held back the Warriors were the injuries. Like we wouldn't have saw the full potential. Like if Clay and Curry got to play more games, and then Dre, but they all got injured. But I feel to me like these dudes already know how to play together. So if they go in the playoffs healthy, they can be very, very scary. Because obviously, you know, Curry and Clay and Dre are not going to forget how to play together. They've done it for so long. It's going to be just like, okay, they're just going to plug them in and they're going to know what to do. So I feel that the Warriors can come out as well. And then the fourth seed, I believe, is the Jazz or Mavericks. Like, those are like the only question marks to me is like those two teams. Like, because the Jazz can like choke or whatever. Like, the Jazz are known for choking. I hate to say it, the Jazz always choke. Maybe this is a year they get over the hump, who knows. And then the Mavericks, basically the Mavericks season is pretty much done. Because if Luka can't play the game 1 or the game 2, that's it. And then like, what do you do? Like, I wouldn't recommend the Mavericks to play Luka. A calf strain, it's not a mild calf strain, so it's more severe. To me, I feel like if he plays on that, he has more of a chance of getting injured. You don't want your superstar messing up his ACL or his Achilles. To me, I don't risk this if I'm the Dallas Mavericks. I go back and I'm like, hey, we made the playoffs. Luka's out. There's nothing we can do. Like, either the team steps up and try to get a win or two, like, without him. But to me, I feel like I don't play Luka. That's my superstar. I got to watch him at all costs. And he's super young. He's like 23. Like, he still has a long, long NBA career ahead of him. But I'm not a damn GM, so who knows what they're going to do. Like, that's like my only question out of like those top 4 teams, like I said. And then like I already talked about the Heat. They're like the least scariest, but also like the Heat, they can still come out the East. To me, the Boston Celtics are very, very scary right now. So I feel like they can come out the East. Obviously, we just saw their stretch of work in the last 2 months. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum playing at a high level. That defense is the best defense in the league, and we already know defense wins championships. So if that defense can keep consistent and they find a way to stop Kyrie and KD, they will have a good shot of beating the Bucks. And then let's go to the Bucks. The Bucks is the 3rd seed. I can never count the Bucks out. They have Giannis. They have the MVP of last year's finals. You know, he's playing at a very high level, so he's playing great right now. One thing with the Bucks, they were kind of injured, and then Brooke finally came back, and they started playing better, and then Chris Middleton got healthy, and then Drew Holiday got healthy, so they have all their core back together. They're all healthy, and we already know they were the champions last year. They're going to try to repeat. You already know how it is. They play solid defense. They play well as a team. They get good looks. You know, it's just got to knock them down, and they have Giannis, arguably one of the top 3 players in the league. Like, that team's solid. People, you know, they have a shot of coming out. And then the 4th seed, what is the Sixers? To me, I feel like the Sixers can do it as well, just because the level of Joel Embiid. Like, Joel Embiid's playing so good right now. He's playing at an MVP level. Same with Giannis. So, like, but the only question for the Sixers to me is James Harden. What are you going to get out of James Harden? It's like Jalen Rose said. Are you going to get one of those concert ticket stats from him, like like 4, 6, and 21, or what? Or are you going to get like the old James Harden from Houston stats? Like if they get the old James Harden from Houston stats, they can also come out the East. But James Harden has to play like his old self. All right, so enough talk about those teams. Let's talk about the matchups now. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm not gonna talk about the Grizzlies, Timberwolves, because that's gonna end in 5 games. I'm not gonna talk about the Suns and Pelicans. That's gonna be over in 4 games. Those teams are clearly outclassed. I hate to say it. I ain't gonna waste my time talking about those 2 series. No disrespect to the Suns. The Suns did their thing, but in my heart, I feel like the Suns and the Grizz are gonna shit on those 2 teams. So there's no point of me talking about it. So yeah. All right, so let's talk about the West playoff picture real quick. I already said I'm not gonna talk about the Suns, so I'm skipping that series. The Suns are gonna win in 4. That's my prediction. I'll be surprised if the Pelicans can pull one out their ass. Dallas, Utah, like I said, I feel like Dallas, if Luka can't play by like the 3rd game, I think Utah finishes that series in like 6 games. To me, if Luka doesn't play in this series, there is no excuse for the Jazz not to take care of business and advance. Like I said, we already know that the Dallas Mavericks rely so much on Luka for their offense. So if that guy's out, I feel like that series is essentially over. I know Luka is a trooper, so he's going to try to play on that messed up calf. I really hope he doesn't, because like I said, this year's a wash anyways. They're not going to win a championship. No disrespect to the Dallas Mavericks, but when it comes to like the team they're going to play in the second round, they're very, very outclassed, and I feel the same way about the Jazz. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm picking the Jazz in 6 games. Since Luka's going to be gone the first 2, I feel like those are 2 L's for the Mavericks. If the Mavericks can pull out a dub or 2 in the first 2 games, then we have a series here. But if they lose the first 2, that's pretty much it. And then let's talk about the Golden State Warriors and Denver series. Like everybody knows, I'm a Jokic homer. I love the Joker. If you know me, I've always, since day one, since I started this pod, I always say there is not gonna be no motherfucking Joker disrespect on this pod. And still to this day, ain't nobody gonna disrespect that man. That man is a hooper. So basically, to me, I feel like GSW obviously is the better team, but Denver is missing key pieces. The thing with Denver is, like, I feel like if they were to get Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray back, and they can just kind of somewhat, like, because we already know if you play with the dude like Joker, he's going to get you wide open looks because you're going to have to double team him. It's kind of like pick your position. If those dudes can just come back and be like 70% of themselves, they got a shot of winning that series. But to me, I don't feel like Joker can beat the Warriors by himself. Like, maybe he'll take 2 games, like, but I don't see him winning a 7-game series by himself. And the thing that sucks about the Nuggets, like, nobody knows what's going on with Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. They're like very, very secretive. Like, they ask Malone, hey, is Jamal Murray going to come back for the playoffs? And the man's answer was like, I don't know. We're going to leave that up to Jamal. Like, what the fuck? What about your training staff, dude? You telling me you're paying these guys all these amounts of money and you're going to let the player decide when he's going to come back? I don't know. That's just weird to me. I don't know. Like, that's kind of like the stuff that Kawhi does. Like, when the training staff is like, hey, man, you're good. There's nothing wrong with you. But he's like, nah, man, my knee still feels messed up, blah, blah, blah. But they're like, dude, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not limping. You're not this. You're not that. And I don't know. It must be a mental thing. I don't know. I don't even want to get into that whole mental health stuff. We're not going to do it. Like, cause to me, it's like that whole subject is very, very touchy. Like, there's so many different views. Like, I don't even want to get into it, but whatever. It might be a mental thing. Like I said, like if Denver, I think that the Warriors win this series in 6, maybe even 5. Because to me, we're asking a lot from Jokic. And yes, everybody knows that Jokic in the playoffs is an absolute monster. But I just don't know. Like I feel like he doesn't have enough firepower. Like he just doesn't have like that to help him get over the Warriors hump. Like, cause it's gonna be hard. Like not having another 20-point score is gonna be really, really hard on him. And the Warriors are gonna get to expose that. And also the Warriors have the better role players. Like he's just kind of like screwed. It's like Embiid versus the Warriors. No disrespect to anybody on the Nuggets. Like I know he has Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon ain't no Jamal Murray. Like he's not gonna go out there and just like go crazy. Like he needs the Joker to feed him. And like I don't know, like it's gonna be hard because I feel like the Warriors are gonna have a game plan to slow down the Joker. And it's gonna work. Like even though the Joker might get his, and they just might shut everybody else down. Like it's just so many. Like to me, I feel like Denver's just kind of screwed because of all their injuries. Like to me, this series would have been one of the most exciting series if the Nuggets were healthy. And mind you, big props to Jokic for getting 48 wins by literally like just him and his role players. That is very impressive to me. Good job to the Nuggets. Like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect the role players or whatnot, but it is what it is. Like the dude essentially beast moded all year and helped in a 48 wins. And also that is my MVP. He's going to be the back-to-back MVP. Everybody choosing Embiid. Why would you choose Embiid? Embiid played with the superstar for like the last 20 games of the season, and he got worse. Like. The team got worse. Jokic kept winning. And another thing, Jokic literally leads in every advanced stat. So, and it's like by a mile. If Jokic doesn't win the MVP, it's a robbery. Like, there's just no way Embiid wins it over him. I'll be so surprised if Embiid wins MVP. And the last series is the Memphis-Minnesota series. I literally said I don't want to talk about that series. Like, to me, I feel like that series ends in 5 games. Maybe the T-Wolves win a game. Like, in order for the T-Wolves to make this a series, I feel that Cat has to be big. And what I mean by big, he's giving me 30 and 10 every game. Like, he needs to be that dude. I'm going to go for 30 and 10 every game. And then D'Angelo Russell has to play well. And Edwards has to play well. Like I feel like Edwards proved himself in that playing game. That kid went off against the Clippers. Like for a second-year player to play like that, that's very, very impressive. So yeah, I like it that Edwards doesn't shine away from the moment. But we're gonna see. Like I feel like the Grizzlies are obviously the better team. John Morant been balling. That team's just been balling. Enough from the West. That's pretty much it. Those were my picks. Now let's get to this Miami-Atlanta series. To me, I feel like the Heat win that series in 5 games. The Heat just got all the answers for the Hawks. Like, they got Bam Adebayo for John Collins. Bam Adebayo is obviously the better player. Jimmy Butler going to be on Trey. Like, yeah, Trey's going to get his buckets, but everybody else is going to be limited. I feel like the Miami Heat win this series like in 5 games. Also, they got Kyle Lowry to throw on Trae Young. They also got PJ Tucker. Like this is a rough series for Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta has to shoot lights out. And then Capella might have got injured. Capella might have went down. So that's like one of their better defensive players. So I feel like the Hawks have an uphill battle here. I'm gonna go with the Heat in 5. And then it's the Sixers, Toronto. This series to me is like probably going to be the hardest series to pick for me. Like, because yes, I know the Raptors won the series during the year. I think they 3-1 them or something like that. But Embiid is the better player. They have the best player in the series. And Harden, if Harden can play like the Houston Rockets Harden, I would go with the Sixers in 6 games, but it all depends on Harden. Like this is like that's what I'm saying. Like this to me is like one of the hardest series to pick, just for that simple fact. Because it's so dependent on how well James Harden's going to play. So like I don't like it's hard for me to pick that because of Harden. Like it all depends on Harden. Because you already know Toronto's going to defend at a very, very high level. They're going to make it so there is no easy buckets for the Sixers. They're going to make them boys work. They're going to make Embiid work. They're going to make everybody work. But like to me, I feel like this. And then Toronto, the key for Toronto to win, Siakam has to be big the whole series as well. Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes has to play well. Like obviously, you know, all the shooters have to be, you know, they have to play very well. But to me, I feel like the Sixers, if James Harden can play like the Houston, James Harden, and because you know what you're going to get from Embiid. Embiid's going to put up that 30 and 10 stat, most like 30 and 10. He might even go big. And that is another thing about the Sixers. The Sixers have the two players that get to the line the most. So you already know, like I hate watching this kind of basketball. If you know me, I say it all the time. I hate watching James Harden play, and I'm starting to hate watching Joel Embiid play. I'm just tired of seeing dudes shoot 10 to 12 free throws a game. That shit is mad fucking boring. Like, they get the whistle, like, you barely touch those dudes, and they get the whistle. And that's another thing about, I don't like that shit that Joel Embiid is a fucking flopper, bro. Joel Embiid is a 7-foot dude that fucking flops. That shit is embarrassing. Quit that shit, bro. That's like that you on that LeBron bullshit. Flopping over here, being the buffest dude on the fucking floor. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That shit look goofy. Gotta stop doing that shit. But like I said, he gets his whistles. So does James Harden. That's another thing about the refs. The refs are gonna have to find a way to defend without fouling, because James Harden and Joel Embiid are good free throw shooters. So I know it's easier said than done, but the refs have to absolutely find a way to play great defense without fouling. Because if you're going to put those dudes at the line and they're both going to shoot 24 free throws between each other, 30 free throws, you're going to lose. You're not going to win. So, but we'll see how it goes. Nick Nurse is a very, very good coach. I big ups to Nick Nurse. Like I said, sorry for disrespecting you Raptors fans. We the North. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry for the disrespect. Your boy was wrong. Like, and I'll admit it, you guys been balling. And it's nice to see because, you know, Pascal Siakam, to me, I don't think Pascal Siakam's a superstar. I think he's like borderline all-star, but the way he's been playing like an all-star. And it's been working out for you guys. And you guys have been defending very well. So big ups to you guys. Good job, Nick Nurse. And that's pretty much it for the Sixers series. Like I said, I'm going to go Sixers in 6. But I can also see Raptors winning in 6, but I'm going to pick the Sixers in 6. I think Joel Embiid is just going to be too much this series, and I feel like James Harden is going to figure it out. So I'm going to go Sixers in 6. All right, so now for the Milwaukee-Chicago series, I'm going to just say it. I said it since the beginning of the season. I said that the motherfucking Chicago Bulls were fucking pretenders. When they were on that number 1 seed for 2.5 months or whatever, I said it since the beginning. I said, these dudes are pretenders. They're not going to fucking win shit. And I was right. Yes, they made it to the playoffs. Big ups to the Bulls. But I literally said these dudes were pretenders. They fell to the 6th seed. A lot of people feel like it's because Lonzo got injured. It's because Caruso got injured. It would not have mattered. These dudes were going to get figured out. Hey, but big ups to DeMar DeRozan for putting up MVP numbers. Lakers fumbled the bag, not waiting on that man. But whatever. Fuck them. They're going to go against the Freak, man. I feel like this series ends in 5 games. They got no one to stop Giannis. No one. Giannis is just going to get to do whatever he wants. Unless they figure out something and figure it out quick. I'm going with the Bucks in 5 games. I just feel like Giannis is going to be too much for these dudes. And their defense is it's mediocre. It's middle of the pack. It's not amazing. Yes, they lost their 2 best defenders in Caruso or Lonzo, but the role players, had to step up. They didn't step up. That's why they dropped to the 6th seed. And yeah, Bucks in 5. No disrespect, Bulls. Now let's talk about the Boston Celtics and Brooklyn Nets series. To me, I feel like this is going to be the most exciting series in the East. Uh, just because the firepower on both sides. You got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum about to try to outduel KD and Kyrie. Like, I feel like those two dudes can match each other. They can go toe to toe. The key in this series is what role players play the best. If the Boston Celtics role players play better, they're going to win, obviously. Same with the Nets. Like, it's, to me, this series is going to come down to the role players. But also, the Boston Celtics defense is a big X factor. That defense is the number one defense in the league. And the Nets are going to have to find a way to crack that defense. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. If you can make KD and Kyrie work, because you know KD and Kyrie are going to have to play 40 minutes in order for these dudes to keep the games close. Because once KD and Kyrie sit, where is the scoring going to come from? Bruce Brown ain't going to be going out for like no 20 points every game. Like, Bruce Brown's going to be limited. Claxton, all those dudes are just going to be there. You're going to see that defense is going to lock them up. So they're going to have to find a way to get points from the bench. I don't know how they do that because the Boston Celtics bench is also very, very solid. They got Derek White coming off the bench, Brandon Pritchard coming off the bench, like Grant Williams coming off the bench. Like, they got a solid bench. And also, big ups to Grant Williams for becoming a way better shooter. That guy literally missed his first 20-something, 30 first three-point attempts, and now he's one of the best shooters in the league. So big ups to Grant Williams, lethal shooter doing his fucking thing. So big ups to lethal shooter and Grant Williams. And then also the Celtics have Theis too. That's another very good role player off the bench for the C's. Like, I don't know. And then Dragic is a great player as well for the Nets, and then Patty Mills. But then I don't know. Like, see, that's like what the toss-up to me is. It's like, to me, it's like I'm gonna pick the C's in 6 games. Obviously, I feel like the C's are the better team. They have the better defense. I feel like they have the better role players, and I feel like they're gonna figure out a way to slow down KD and Kyrie and the other dudes down. But then there's like that other end that everybody's saying, KD, the baddest man in the planet. This is going to be really hard for KD because the Boston Celtics, like I said, defend at a high level the whole time, the whole game. They're going to defend them at a high level. KD is going to have to play 40 games. I feel like the longer this series goes, the harder it's going to be for the Nets because Kyrie, and then you have Ramadan Kyrie, even though he's balling, like, I don't know if he's going to be able to play 40 hard minutes every night for this series. It's going to be rough on those two dudes. Like, it's like I said, like, where are the points going to come from for the Nets? Like, Dragic has kind of not been the same since that injury in Miami. Patty Mills kind of started off hot, and then he kind of fell off. So to me, this series is all going to come down to which team's role players play better, and I feel like the Boston Celtics role players are going to answer the call. Like, it ain't because I'm a C's fan, it's just because their stretch of work in the last 20, 30 games of the season have proven that those dudes are legit. Like, that defense is legit. There is no denying that. And I also left out Al Horford. Al Horford is very, very skilled big man. Can pick and pop, can defend at a high level. And like, and also Drummond is going to get exposed in this series. I don't know why people are not talking about that. Drummond is not a shot blocker at all. Drummond is very slow on his feet as well. He's going to get eaten alive in the paint. That's another thing a lot of people are not talking about. The Nets defense is not a great defense. Yes, they're like in the top 15 in like the last 10 games, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to stop JT and JB with that defense. There's no way. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be surprised if both of these two teams, these games are going to I don't think none of these games are going to be like 90, like those 95, 96 point games. I feel like all of these games are going to be like 110, 115. Everybody's going to drop about 110, 115. Like both teams are going to average around that. Even though the Boston Celtics defense is amazing, you just got all those scores. Like, I don't know. To me, this is going to be the best series out of all of them in the first round. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I gave you guys my picks. Now let's talk about the MVP race. Y'all already heard me being a Joker homer. I said Joker back-to-back MVP, and I still believe that. I don't think anybody's going to take that MVP from Joker. I think Joker will be the back-to-back MVP. It's simple. He had the better season than Joel. Yes, Joel won the scoring title. Big fucking deal. Joker, his win shares are better. He generates more points than Embiid. That right there alone should be enough. Like, and then also he's slapping him in all the advanced stats. That should be enough. Joe Keek will probably be the MVP. Back-to-back MVP. And the defensive player of the year, I think Marcus Smart is going to be the defensive player of the year. That dude's been locking everybody up. He's a big reason why the Boston Celtics jumped from the 8th seed to the 2nd seed. Him and Robert Williams have been anchoring the hell out of that defense, and I just think he deserves. A lot of you guys are going to think I'm saying this because I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not. Like, the dude has been playing great. Like, if you watch the Celtics, you see what he does. He's like top 5 in steals. Like, he alters so many shots. It's like, if you're going to give it to Rudy Gobert because he does that, the argument has to be the same for Marcus Smart, because that was one of the big things for Gobert winning it. Oh, he alters so many shots and he blocks so many shots. And that's the thing with Smart. Smart, he makes the people he's defending make bad decisions because he's on their ass. Or either he clamps them up, he like cuts off lanes for them, and he makes them make bad passes. So it's if you're gonna have that whole he alters shots and he alters possessions, you need to be the same way for the guards. Like when guards are making the dude they're defending make bad passes, you gotta count that as well for them. Because I feel like a reason that the guards haven't won it in a long time is because that whole BS. Like, oh, the center, they alter so many shots. They just do so much. They block shots. And it's like, the guards do that too. You gotta do that for the guards too. Like, you gotta be like, oh man, that guard made him make a bad pass. That has to count for something. If you do that for the centers, like with the whole altering shot BS, you have to do that for the guards. To me, that's why I don't feel like a guard hasn't won it, because they don't take that into account anymore. Like when a guard is locking somebody up and is making them make terrible decisions that leads to steals and points, like they don't like account for that, and it sucks. Like I think that shit is just BS. Like the big man made you miss because he stuck up his arm, or he like got in your way. But guards do the same shit when they lock up a dude and they make bad passes. Like it has to count for something. Like they make it seem like it's nothing. What else? I'm not really gonna talk about football. I don't feel like it. I feel like I suck at talking about football these days because I watched a lot of it, and then it's just like I'm so wrong. Like last year's football season was one of the weirdest football seasons for me. Like everybody that I thought was gonna do something did not. All right, guys, I'm just gonna end the pod here. I hope all you guys are doing good. I hope life is treating you guys all good. I'm recently married. I've been living my life. That's why I haven't really been podding. I hope all of you guys have a beautiful day. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that follow button on Podbean. Your boy is on Apple Podcasts, Fatboy Takes, Twitter. My Twitter's at Fatboy Takes. You guys ever have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comments for the podcast on Podbean, or you can leave them on any of the of the outlets for the pods. Like I said already, Apple Pod, Podbean. I'm on Spotify. If you guys leave any comments, I'll try to get back to you guys. Like I said, I hope you guys are all doing great. I just want to say thank you to whoever still bothers with this pod. Also, I'm debating if I should have this dude that works for me on my pod. He's a fucking huge fucking bozo, and he's very fucking delusional. He's an annoying ass fucking Clippers fan, you know. He's one of them fucking bozos that yells out, LA, our way, and then he sees them lose in the playing game and he shits his ass up. So who knows? We're debating this. I'm debating in my brain if I should have that dude on the pod or not. But as for everybody, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I hope you guys have a kick-ass Saturday. Your boy's out of here. I'm going to go run my errands. Much love. Peace. Take care, guys.